Woke up and I saw some stuff from ESPN, and I wanted to talk about this real quick. First of all, is Manny Pacquiao the GOAT or one of the greatest? Is that even a question? Is that even a question, ladies and gentlemen? Is that really a question? Come on, of course. Second question. Did Mayweather fight in 5 years too late? No, that is an excuse. Pacquiao was most ready to face Mayweather 5 years after. I believe if he faced him in 2010, Mayweather would have knocked him out. You heard me. It's my opinion. And finally, ESPN said that Mayweather cherry-picked Canelo Alvarez. Are we really going to go there? If Mayweather cherry-picked Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao cherry-picked Brandon Rios coming off of a loss to Mike Alvarado. Manny Pacquiao cherry-picked. I mean, I could just go on and on. We're not going to go there. Okay? He did not cherry-pick the current pound-for-pound number one fighter in the world. Let's just stop it. If you're going to talk about cherry-picking, then let's cherry-pick people who are not great fighters, okay? Canelo's a great fighter himself. That's not a cherry-pick. Okay, ESPN, you guys, you really need to, you guys seriously need to find something else to reach out to. Hey, you don't cherry pick great fighters. That's stupid. Now, Rod Salka versus Danny Garcia, that was a cherry pick. Now, Rod Salka is a good fighter at super featherweight. Okay? So, when you say cherry pick, what are you talking about? Okay? Floyd Mayweather's never cherry picked any fighters. So, let's stop with the good guy, bad guy stuff. All right? Both guys are great fighters. Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest of all time. So is Floyd. Outstanding fighters. It just is what it is. All right. Anybody else wants to come around and say otherwise? Usually their arguments are always stupid, and you know why? Because certain people want to down certain people to put other people up. All right, and we just, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. Their records speak for themselves. Their records speak for themselves. When I say that Manny Pacquiao faced all comers, he faced all fighters. He really did. Now, if I go into details and essential details about his fights and how it was set up and whatever, that's a totally different story. But the point is, he did face all comers, as did Floyd Mayweather. All comers. And it's hard for some people to understand because one is being villainized as evil and one is being saint-wise or given a sainthood, but they're both the same kind of fighter. Except Floyd is a little bit better than Pacquiao is. Well, significantly better than he is, but that's beside the point. I don't want to start a competitive war. We're great fighters. In fact, arguably top 5 greatest fighters of all time. And that's going to be hard for some people to digest, seeing that they have an affinity to the past. And they can't let it go. And they don't understand that boxing as a sport has evolved. But here on What You Need, we try our best. And that is my bias. My bias is I do not believe that past fighters were better fighters than fighters today. I don't believe that. I'll never believe it. I don't believe boxing as a sport came this far from its beginnings. And I've seen what its beginnings was. And like I said before, it was from a rough, crude beginnings. As much as guys want to say, oh, these guys were so technical and so great and they had so much skill, and trust me, it wasn't like that. Okay? It didn't begin like that. I watched them scrap. Yeah, they got their little check hooks and they got their little lead left hooks and stuff, but there's so much refinement that has happened over the course of 100 to 130 years. You guys have no idea. But when you have a sense of history, when you understand fights, when you see what's going on in a fight, it makes more sense. Oh, the sport has evolved a lot. Okay? So if I say that Pacquiao Mayweather top 5 greatest of all time, I could actually show you I could show you a top 5 greatest of all time that has nothing to do with the conventions that they have today. I would bring up fighters that you guys have never heard about. And it would shock a lot of you guys. And then when you go and do your research, you'll be like, oh shit, this guy was really great. So we could go there if that's what you want to do. All right. I could bring up obscure fighters you guys never heard about and show how great their accomplishments were. All right. But I don't do that because I understand there's acceptable conventions by popular opinion. All right. But there's a lot of great fighters in boxing history. A lot of great fighters. And some of them you guys have no idea how great they were. And I'll bring up some of them. I'll bring up some of them in time. But as of now, is Manny Pacquiao one of the greatest fighters of all time? Absolutely. All right? And if he wants to say he's the GOAT, by all means, he can say that. Conversely, you cannot be going about there saying Pacquiao is one of the all-time greats and Floyd is not. This just doesn't make any sense. Seeing he beat Pacquiao and he beat the current great fighter of our time right now, Canelo Alvarez. There's no way you can avoid that. Just retarded. Of course, Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest fighters of all time, if not the greatest fighter of all time. He can make that claim very easily. All right, very easily. I mean, you just look at his resume, look at his work. Right. So we're not here to dispute these things. These are not disputable facts anymore. These are just what they are. Okay? I'll catch you guys later. What you need. Out.